Hi, this is Will with Spiritual Clarity, and on this rainy, grainy day without great lighting, I thought this is a perfect time to record this message about the acorn and what I learned from an acorn about self love. So, I've got this thing called the 8 pillars of the Imposter Complex, and each of the pillars is pivotal in your self concept, how you see yourself, to stop beating yourself up, to stop letting the imposter complex or the imposter syndrome run your life and ruin your business. And one of the key ones, I mean, they're all key, but one of the key ones is your inner critic. And the antidote to your inner critic is, of course, self love. And I want to illustrate that with a story. So it was last year around this time, maybe a little later in the year, and I was with my family. And we were camping at a place called Windhorse Farms. It's this gorgeous, amazing place here in Nova Scotia. And they went down the day before I did, and then I came down with some friends the following day. So when I arrived, I had time and space to just walk around this amazing space with gorgeous trees, and they've got a biodynamic farm and a lake and the woods. And I was just walking barefoot and just basking in nature, and it was early fall, so no bugs, but it wasn't cold. It was just perfect. And I walked down by the lake where my wife and daughter were out in the canoe with my brother and his kids, and waiting for them to come back with the gorgeous sun, and looking at these acorns on the ground underneath this oak tree. And I was picking up the acorns to find a perfect acorn, because that's our family game at the moment. Every time we go for a walk, whoever gets the perfect acorn by the end of the walk, they get a prize. And we just make up whatever the prize is going to be. And so I'm looking for the perfect acorn. And for this particular tree, every single acorn was perfect. And as I'm holding these acorns in my hands, just waiting for my family to come back, happy, smiling, peaceful in the moment, I had this thought of, why am I not anxious? Why am I not beating myself up? Why am I not mad at myself for not being at work on my business? Not that I should, but I was just surprised. I was shocked, because that had been how I had operated for so long. And I realized that I'd had a fundamental shift. And that fundamental shift was that I stopped beating myself up. I stopped treating myself terribly. And the difference that made in my business, it wasn't an overnight thing. It wasn't like a lot of the videos that you hear where it's, and then a $10 million client signed up. It wasn't like that. But it did mean that all of the seeds that I planted could now grow. And I thought of this because of the acorns I was holding in my hand, that just because you finally plant a seed doesn't mean it grows overnight, but at least it has the chance to grow. But it can't grow if the soil that you've planted it in is poisoned. And when you allow your inner critic to run your life and ruin your business, you poison the soil. Now, it doesn't matter what seed you plant. It doesn't matter how amazing that new program is, or how amazing that new offer is, or how clear your niche or your marketing message is. None of that matters, because the soil that you've planted the seed in is poisoned. Nothing will grow. So you'll blame your messaging, you'll blame your marketing, you'll blame your offer, you'll blame whatever it is, but none of those things, well, they might also be off, but likely none of those things are as much to blame as you are yourself. And even using that word, I hesitate to use the word blame, because if you're stuck in inner critic stuff, then blame comes all too easy. Self-blame, the guilt, the shame comes all too easy. So as I'm standing there with these perfect acorns in my hand, at peace, at ease with myself, waiting for my family to come in the canoe, I realized that self-love is, I know it's cliched, but it's such a crucial part of the journey. So, if you've been dealing with imposter complex, if you've been dealing with these 8 pillars, and especially this one of the inner critic, what can you do? How do you shift that? Well, in my work, I deal with the beliefs that you've got, the stories that you're living in. We deal with energetic tools like energy pulling and some others. And we deal with, where are you lying to yourself? Where are you pretending, not consciously pretending, you're unconsciously pretending that these are all the problems, but really it's this little thing hiding back here behind my mic that you can barely see. That's the lie. So those are the 3 things that I focus on. But what can you do in the DIY approach, the do-it-yourself approach, right now as you're watching this video? The very first thing you can do is be a little bit gentler to yourself. I hope you can hear the kids in the background. Be a little kinder to yourself. That when you notice that you've made a mistake, when you notice you've screwed up, today has been a bit of a write-off. I'm not going to go into the story of all that jazz. But what I can do to shift that around is, okay, Will, yeah, you had a rough start to the morning. Family schedule changed. You lost a bunch of work time. But hey, you got to spend time with your daughter. Oh, but you were cranky and you weren't the best dad. You were kind of like a 2 out of 10 dad. Yeah, I get it, Will. There's a lot going on. It's okay. You messed up. You failed, or you could say, okay, universe, today you win this one. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, not really. I'm going camping again this weekend at Windhorse, actually. Distraction. So many great things to talk about. Anyways, just that kind of gentle self-talk can help smooth out the rough edges. And then you can look at, okay, what's the belief here? Well, the belief is, I clearly believe that business has to be hard. Or I clearly believe that no one wants to hear what I have to say. Or I clearly don't want to be seen. Well, what's going on with that? But if you try to go to, what is the belief to clear too soon, often you end up kind of shooting yourself in the foot. What you could do first is a bit of gentle self-talk of, Will, it's been a rough day. It's been a lot going on. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we've kind of botched the day or the week or the month or the year. And we're going to turn this boat around. We don't know. I don't know how yet. Doesn't matter. We, I, you. Doesn't matter. We're going to turn it around. We'll figure it out. If you need to go take a nap first, it's okay. We'll figure it out. So, first step, be willing to reparent yourself. Be willing to be a bit more gentle with yourself. And then don't leave it there. That's a Band-Aid solution. It's a great first step, but if that's all you do, you'll probably just end up recreating the exact same reality that you've been creating that's been causing all the stress. So it's a little bit like doing tons of self-care, but without addressing the root of why you need so much self-care. If you're doing 5 hours of self-care a day, probably you could address some beliefs and stories as well, so you don't need so much self-care. So step 2, look at, well, what's the belief that I have about this? Do I believe that I'm a stupid idiot? That was one of my favorites for a long time. Am I living in the story that I should do better, that I should do more, that I haven't done enough? So what's the belief and what's the story? And then you want to destroy that at the point of creation. And of course, if you need any help with that, you know where to find me. You comment below, you reach out on my website, myspiritualclarity.com. So that's my acorn story, and I hope that helps to give you a bit more permission to, you drop the ball. It's okay. I still love you. You still love you. You're still loved. We'll get through this. And then look at what's the belief to clear or the story to step out of. So please do comment below if this video has been valuable for you. And if you're having a rainy day where you are, go curl up under a blanket, watch a good movie, have a cup of tea or something, and just love yourself a little bit more, and then get back to work if that is appropriate. But loving yourself a little bit more can't ever really hurt. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.